Yes. Good afternoon, students. Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes. See, my screen is visible. Screen is visible.
Yes, sir.
Yes. See, our next concept. So, previous class we have discussed about, right? In previous class we have discussed about application of Gauss law. In that we seen to finding of electric field intensity due to finite line as well as infinite line is the case one. Secondary, so for finding the electric field intensity due to infinite sheet charge. Today we will see about uniform charged sphere, right? Today we will see the application of uniform charged sphere. So for consideration this, let me consider a sphere which consisting of a radius r. So this is the radius r of a sphere. These dotted lines can be represented as Gaussian surface. To making a Gaussian surface, right? To making Gaussian surface, let me provide a symmetrical area. So with the help of the dotted lines here, let us consider these dotted lines can be considered as a Gaussian surface which consisting of a radius is r. Here the case one, sphere radius is greater than the Gaussian surface radius. At that time, what will be the electric field intensity that we have to recognize? And next, when the Gaussian surface is greater than Gaussian surface radius is greater than the disk radius or a charged sphere radius is a part, so that we can see in a part B. So the diagram of B. So right, okay, first my intention is I want to find the electric field intensity on a charged sphere. The sphere which consisting a radius is or not. So if I construct a Gaussian surface, a radius is very less than to the sphere radius is the case one. If I construct the Gaussian surface radius is more than the sphere radius is the case two. In these two cases, I have to find the field intensity. Are you clear? Next you will see, so generally whatever the procedure we have followed for finding the field intensity in a previous case, such a same procedure we have been following here. See, for Q to dV, so which is the equation derived from the statement of the Gauss law, where Q is the charge, total enclosure charge, rho v is the volume charge density. So right, rho v dV is the volume charge density. So in this, let me consider rho v is the constant term. Let me take it out from the integral. Now I want to know the value of dV here. So it is a spherical. So this one is the disk. That is the disk means. So here we have to consider spherical coordinating system. In a spherical coordinating system, in a spherical coordinating system, the volume charge is nothing but r square sine theta dr d theta d phi. See, once again I'm telling you, dV value for spherical coordinating system is r square sine theta d theta dr and d phi. where the phi values lying between 0 to 2 pi and theta values are lying between 0 to pi. So that is what, let me split my volume integral into the equivalent spherical volume. So where I have been considering phi integral or phi component is one integration, theta component is another integration. So right, so then q enclosed equal to rho v into integral over phi equal to 0 to 2 pi into d phi, theta equal to 0 to pi r square sin theta dr d theta. So when I do the integration, this you will get a value of q enclosed is equals to rho suffix v into 4 by 3 into pi r cube. Rho by 3 into, so rho suffix v 4 by 3 into pi r cube. Now, so this I have found the value for q enclosed, but I require the value for psi, means already we have relation between the flux to the flux density, psi equal to integral over d dot ds, psi equal to integral over d is a constant out to the integration, ds same value can be represented here. So phi equal to 0 to 2 pi and theta equal to 0 to pi r square sin theta dr d theta. When you do the integration, you will find this psi equal to d into 4 pi r square, d into 4 pi r square. And according to the Gaussian surface, Gauss law, the psi is equal to q enclosed. Already we have found the value for q enclosed, and second equation separately I have found the value for psi. Now I am going to equate in the equation 1 as well as the equation 2. Here equating the equation 1, equation 2. So from this I will get a value of d. Then I will get the equation of d is equals to r by 3 rho v into ar. So this is for case 1. And case 2 we will see when the radius is greater than that. Same procedure here also we've been following. So that is q equal to rho v into dv. Already we know the value for rho v dv value 4 by 3 into pi r cube, and psi equal to d dot ds. So same procedure you can sorry for interruption. So something network issue is going on. See, so sorry for disturbance. So here the case 2, so we need to see when the radius or it is or not. Formula, first step we have to find the Q enclosure, second step we have to find the flux. So we are going to equating this Q enclosure value to the flux, then we will get the flux density value. So right, so from these two we have been concluded that with the help of the Gauss law we have determined d value for two cases. The case 1, the radius of a Gaussian radius can be considered between 0 to r naught, and second case it will be greater than r. And these two cases, so these are all the d values we have been seeing. So up to this, so it is clear for Gauss law application. And next, so you will see the electric potential. Are you listening? Okay. Next we will see the electric potential. So this, so from this we have to get our second Maxwell's equation. So our first Maxwell's equation we have got from the second Maxwell's equation we have got from the Gauss law. Similarly, sorry, first Maxwell's equation we have got from the Gauss law, and second Maxwell's equation we have got from the see, the potential difference between the two charges can be considered as a so suppose we have a charged particle at A with a radius of r1, and here also B is the another charged particle, so this one is the origin. See here, so these are all the fields, electric fields. Suppose I want to bring my point A to point B, means I have to put some pressure or some force on a point A to moving point A charge to the point B charge. Students, are you there? Okay. You will see the, so actually, so I want here the concept is I want to make moving a charge from point A to point B. See here, so to moving a point A to point B, I have to apply some external force on a point A, then only it is possible to moving a charge A to charge B. So that is here the F is the force is applying on a line charge, where the force is applying externally. That is what here, let me indicate, it's a minus sign. So work done, so that is total work done equal to, so equal, so from the fundamental equation E equal to F by Q. So from this software I can replace F by, so write F by Q. Total work done is equals to minus E into Q dot dl. So right here the minus sign indicates that the external force has been applying on a charge to move from point A to the point B. So that is total work done is nothing but a electric potential. So that is, so V is a potential between a point A to the point B. So work per charge, work potential is V equal to work per charge is a definition. So that is work per charge means from A to B my electric field have been moving, where minus sign is indicates that applying the external force. And already we know the value of E. So E is equals to Q by 4 pi epsilon r square into AR. You can substitute this value into above equation here. Then we get a V suffix AB equal to. So here the radius is RA. See here. So radius is RB and this one is the RA. So it is moving from RA to RB. So that is what. Let me consider the integral starting value is RA and ending value is RB. So let me substitute the E value into above equation. So reminder. So integral simplified value will come. So VAB equal to Q by 4 pi epsilon naught is a constant term. See here. AR will becomes 1. So remainder only 1 by r square. Integral 1 by r square is nothing but minus 1 by r. 1 by x square integration is minus 1 by a. Okay, then we can substitute the upper limit as well as the lower limit. We will get the value of electric potential V is equals to Q by 4 pi epsilon naught of 1 by r suffix B minus r suffix. Otherwise, it is also called as V suffix AB is equals to V suffix B minus is the potential at point B. So here it is the potential at point A. Same value, if you can assume the potential is infinity is 0. That is, if initially we can be considered VA is equals to 0, whereas radius, so right. So this is the electric potential formula. Electric potential is equals to, so potential difference between the point A to the point B can be considered as a potential, electric potential for achieving a point A to point, moving a point A to point B. So I have been applying some force, so that force can be represented in terms of work. So work is nothing but, potential is nothing but work per charge. Work is defined as integral moving a total work is the work per charge is nothing but moving my charged particle from A to B into E dot dl. So already we know the E value. I can substitute E value. I can have an integration. Finally, I will find the electric potential. Any doubts? Okay. See, so this is the electric potential. Let me extend my concept for a, there will be a number of charge carriers. See here only I am assuming from RA to RB. So not like that. I want to shift my point A to C, point A to D, point A to F, or point A to E. So whatever it may be, point A to, there will be a n number of charge carriers. Then my electric potential will take conversion V suffix r equal to Q by 4 pi epsilon r minus r dash. Same, let me extend for the n charged particle. For first charged particle it is Q1 by 4 pi epsilon r minus r1. For second particle it becomes as Q2 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught r minus r2 and so on, Qn divided by 4 pi epsilon r minus rn. And this can be summarized as Vr is equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into summation k equal to n Q suffix k divided by r minus r suffix k. So this is the electric potential formula for there will be a n number of charges, right? Same potential can be applied for a line charge. Potential is applied for a surface charge. Potential is applied for the volume charge. So from this, I can able to conclude that V is equals to minus E dot dl plus C is a constant, right? At the same time, if suppose, so let me bring my point charge from B to point A. Next one is bringing back my potential to point A means, so you have to get a to B for applying some external force and B to A. Now let you consider the total work done. Total work done on a point A is becomes 0 because initially you shifted a charge point from A to B for apply. So after applying some external force, as well as you have bring back the charge again to point A. So now we can consider total work done on a point A becomes 0. So that is V suffix AB BA is equal to this one, V suffix minus minus of V suffix AB, because of both the polarities have changes. So this one is a forward direction, from B to A is in a opposite direction. That is what V suffix BA is equals to minus V suffix AB. Let you consider V suffix AB plus V suffix BA becomes 0, because of V suffix AB is moving charge particle A to B. V suffix BA is moving charge particle B to A. Now total work done becomes 0. Total work done becomes 0. Now it is the E dot dl equal to 0. So E dot dl can be converted into surface integral for applying the steps to converting a line integral into the surface integral. So let me apply the Stokes theorem. Delta cross E bar dot ds equal to 0. So which is not 0. So remember this formula. So this is very, very important. Delta cross E bar is equals to 0. See, next conservation of the loss. Conservative vector, so that is V equal to minus integral E dot dl. So this is the relation what we have got from the electric potential. So it is the line charge. That is what, let me represent minus E dot dl means. So dl means Ex along with the dx, Ey along with the dy, Ez along with the dz. dv is already you know. So from this you can equating the electric component from these two equations. You will get a value of Ex equal to minus dou v by dou x, Ey is equals to minus dou v by dou y, and Ez equal to